Hello, welcome to Get Connected. Get Connected is a 30-minute web conference series focusing on CU Answers, management services, and the people who drive them. Today, I am joined by Amber Overla, the Vice President of CU Answers Organizational Resource and Development, better known as ORD. We like our acronyms here at CU Answers, right, Amber?
Oh, yeah.
Amber, tell me about ORD and tell me, how did you land here at CU Answers?
Well, thank you, Julie, for having me. So ORD is our Organizational Resource Development Department that you mentioned. I think in most organizations, probably traditionally known as HR, right? Here we do a little bit more than that. In addition to the standard things one would assume an HR department would do, from recruiting, paperwork, general administration. We do all of the benefits stuff. We do all of our compliance. We also have a different side of the house, which is our client interaction team, which is where Michael on my team focuses on working with our call agents to monitor, track, and coach and develop performance in that area. So I joined CU Answers 3 years ago, almost now. I came from the insurance industry. I'd also worked for a stint in the medical industry, and I came here for the opportunity to work for a really exciting company and work and grow my own team.
And here you arrived.
right? Yeah.
Amber, tell me again, what is the difference between ORD and HR?
Yeah. So when you think of HR, you think of just the traditional HR tasks, recruiting, compliance, benefits. Some HR teams' benefits is completely separate. Our team not only handles all of that side of things, we also handle all I look at it from kind of team building, growing, administration, and then we also handle training, education, as well as that client focusing stuff with our agents who are on call centers. So we focus on monitoring their calls, really examining the techniques they use when they're working with members direct or working with our credit unions direct, and then coaching them so that they have better performance and that they are able to provide that service to their customers as well as ours.
So tell me a little bit, you refer to the we.
The we.
Who is the we? How is your team structured?
Okay. So I have 3 other members on my team. I have Michael Cervello. Michael is a generalist who focuses on what we call quality control. So that's that call monitoring program. Then I have Brandon Shaw, who is the generalist who focuses on recruiting. So he handles all recruiting for CU Answers, and then he also works for Extend and EDOC and assists our 2 of our network partners with staffing. And then our newest member, Heather, who just joined our team, Heather Howard, is our ORD admin. And she's going to be a jack of all trades, hopefully very soon.
So tell me a little bit about recruiting. So you, Brandon,
yep,
is responsible for recruiting. What does that look like in the world of CU Answers?
Yeah, so it's changed a lot over the last couple of years. We've, in the past, worked a lot with outside staffing agencies. And so with unemployment, which is ever changing, we've worked on some dynamics of kind of updating that and looking at more of an active role in recruiting, not only just non-traditional review a resume, enter a person, hire a person. The goal was to change that dynamic and really be able to go out and source the candidates. So we use social media, we use print ads, we use college recruiting, we use just a variety of different techniques in addition to those that just apply direct. So obviously you do have a fair number of candidates that do come in that way. So recruiting is not only just the who applies for what job that I throw out there, but also networking with people, using social activities in the community to be able to get our name, get our jobs out there, and see who we can find that might want to come work for us or one of our partners.
So suppose I'm a credit union, okay, and I'm struggling and I don't know where to start with hiring new staff.
Yep.
Is that something that you can help with?
Yep. So we would love to have an opportunity to work with any of our credit union partners to help identify maybe a variety of things. We could help build job descriptions for them if they needed. We could look at them to help identify different techniques or different sources that are in their area that they might be able to use to recruit. We could help them get connected with different colleges and universities that they might want to partner with, or talk to them just about different avenues about what recruiting might look like for them as well.
Anywhere in the U.S.?
Yeah.
Wow.
Doesn't have to be specialized. Social media is everywhere, and it's probably the #1 place to recruit from today is social media and how you use that and how you expand that technique.
That's interesting, actually. I'd love to hear. That's like a whole other web conference.
It's a whole
right?
subject.
Let's do that. It would be really fun. So also tell me about coaching. So you center a lot on, you said education and coaching.
Yep.
At CV Answers. And at CV Answers, we have a program called EPP, right?
The REACH program?
Yep.
Yeah.
So the REACH program, tell us about that and how a credit union might be able to apply that.
Yeah. So as part of our employee participation program, we have branded a program called REACH, Resources for Employee Achievement. And so we require our employees to go through the REACH program every year. There's some core classes that we have to take, which are just good reminder things on building security, security in general, computer security, just important things that we want to be at the forefront of all employees' minds. So we have the core classes that are required, but then we want you, our staff, to understand our business. We want them to understand our products, our services. We want them to understand our teams and our coworkers. From a management perspective, we want them to have the best training they can in all things that they're going to experience and explore. So we have different courses that we offer over the year. We have employees take these different courses to just continue to grow and gain knowledge.
Mm-hmm. So in the world of coaching, so we take these courses and we have defined goals to meet for those courses, and then there's the coaching side. Tell us a little bit about coaching.
So coaching comes in a couple different forms for my team. So I'll talk about Michael and his role first. So Michael does the quality control. So he's going to actually listen to calls every single month. He's going to monitor calls. We have a scorecard that he uses to kind of evaluate the calls. You know, did we greet the person? Did we offer them a ticket number maybe at the end? Did we follow up? Did we ask them if they have a different question? Or did we just, assume, hello, who is this? So he walks through the process. But then what he does is once he gets those scorecards back, then he goes back to the management team and or direct to the employee and sits down with them and says, hey, you know what, have you missed our SAFE program. When you didn't do your start the call, you didn't assess the problem, you didn't follow through, you didn't end the call properly. So he's going to walk them through a process to make sure that they are hitting all the major marks so that the employee maybe ran into a difficult situation. He'll offer them feedback and coaching on how to end that or how to transition those calls. Hold times is a great example. Employees get to a problem and they need to put an employee on to put someone on hold, making sure that you come back and you don't just leave someone on hold forever.
That's frustrating.
Yeah, so talking through those processes and making sure they understand, one, our requirements, but two, also how do you transition and why is that important and why is that person getting frustrated with you if you didn't give them feedback. So really using the actual calls to be able to really give good coaching feedback, either through the manager or through Michael direct.
Interesting. So in the SAFE program that you're referring to on coaching, is that something that a credit union you could share with a credit union? If maybe they may have a call center or maybe they don't, they just really want to use that as a model for their programs. Is that something that you would share?
That is a program that we do offer. If a credit union wanted to sign up for those services with us, that would be a program Michael could come in and train and work with their staff on implementing.
That would be really cool. So check into that. So how would if I was interested in doing that, how would I get started? Who would I call?
So you can call me, and I would be the primary person to start the conversation, kind of do a needs assessment of you, trying to understand what different things you would need from my team, what that would look like, and then we would put a plan together of what that proposal would look like for you.
So a little strategic planning involved with that too. So that sounds like an excellent service to plug into. Tell me a little bit more about benefits. So if I were a credit union and I didn't know what benefits, I didn't know where to start, is that something that you could help me with?
Yep. So benefits is a little trickier. So we do facilitate all of the benefits here for CV Answers Extend and for eDocs. So for 3 of our network partners. If a credit union ever wanted to consult with us and wanted us to come in and look at their benefit plans or work with their third parties to facilitate, or if they were looking for a new agent, we definitely have contacts that we could put them in touch if they wanted to look at different options to see how they could outsource us and have us be a facilitator for those benefits. We would absolutely talk to them. Again, it kind of goes back to that needs assessment. We would have to understand the specifics of what a credit union was looking for, how could we best fill in, how could we provide those services. We've set up some pretty good platforms for us internally and with our network partners, which works out really well because we can use these and facilitate through the same systems and channels, which keeps things uniform, helps make sure we dot our I's and cross our T's and keep things running smooth that way.
So I'm hearing that really, if our credit union were to engage, you would perform either a deep dive into a needs analysis or maybe it's a mini analysis. They might have an idea of, here's what I know I want this. Might be some other areas, not sure. So a needs assessment would be really a great place to start. And then there's recruiting services and coaching services, benefits. And you and I were talking about documentation earlier today, and all the great documentation that we have, employee handbooks and security manuals and all the things that are privacy statements and social media statements and all those things that you've worked so hard to create, and being able to do that for a credit union. Tell us about that.
So we do all that.
Yes.
That's the summary of it, I guess. And that is definitely a service that if our credit union was interested. For example, we just did with our Extend partner, we just redid their handbook. In January, we did eDocs, but that's something that my team will also help dive into, depending on the credit union. You may want more or less involvement, but we would help draft those, and then those would obviously have to go through legal counsel depending on the type of document. Before they went, we want to make sure that we're dotting all the I's and crossing all the T's for other states.
You're all about that, aren't you?
I know. Go figure. But like eDoc, for example, is a great example. They're in Vermont. And so they have some things that are very specific to their state. So not only do we do our own research to kind of try to dot some of those I's and cross those T's, but then we also work with attorneys in their state to make sure that we've covered everything and that all the bases are covered. But any of those resources, we're happy to help build those and build programs and things.
So I might be a credit union, and I might be a new manager inside of a credit union. Would you be able to provide me some resources that help me to be a good manager?
So through our REACH programs, we do offer a variety of things, and we've actually started in the last year offering some client-facing education courses. Some of these are, I think I trained one on interviewing, Michael does a couple, he does one on coaching, and then there's a third one, and I've already forgot. So I think there's 4 of them in total. The classes that we do offer direct to the credit unions, they are through the Client Services and Education Catalog, and they're really great classes. I think they offer a little bit of variety. If anybody ever wanted a private class, if they wanted something tailored towards their university or towards their credit union, we're happy to build those as well. We could look into tailoring them any way we want. We have recently built a new program to kind of go with our PDLC, our People Development Lifecycle. Our program that we're putting in place is for our leadership team currently. It's a 10-course series. That's going to offer on a variety of leadership courses taught from November of this year through the end of next year. But the idea is to have some practical application, little bit of theory in there because you have to have that, right? And then we put a See You Answer spin on it. So we took a little different look at ours and said, not only do we want you to understand the theory, we want you to understand See You Answers, and then we want to talk about how this can meet the middle with some practical application. So that's a fun series that we are just getting ready to roll out.
I'm excited.
Super excited about that
one. I've been hearing all about it, so wait and hear more credit unions that are joining us today. You'll hear a lot more about the program, I think, coming up, and some of the things that you can do to implement at your credit unions, right? Yeah. So pretty exciting there. Tell me about what else is new, what else is happening in ORD?
We are always doing lots of things. I'll tie this in a little bit to the RIM process, which kind of goes back a little bit.
What's RIM process?
RIM, Records Information Management.
Yeah, you saw that last month.
So one of the things when I came here was I said, HR has lots of paper. We have paper everywhere, right? And we have legal requirements of documents that we have to keep. But I came from an environment where everything was digital. I quickly looked at the corporate vault and the eDoc system and said, I want one of those. And everyone's like, okay. So we've worked on converting we're working on converting our HR files to digital, back-end imaging documents. We have a point in process where we've created these digital filing cabinets in our corporate vault, and we're front-end imaging everything new, but we're back-end imaging old documents still, working to eliminate some of that paper.
It's interesting that you say that too, because, you know, HR documents might be different, right, than another set that I might keep, right? So you may be able to provide some perspective to a credit union who's just unsure, right, of what do I need to keep or not to keep, and then working with Marilyn Boyd and our records and information team, right, to be able to really understand how I can file that and go electronic with that. So really interesting perspective, and I was here for that day that Amber said, I want that, and it was like super exciting. It was like a kid in the candy shop. So
I don't know who was more excited, me or Marilyn. I was like, let's build that. So it's a great program. I'm really pleased with the product. I'm pleased with the results. You know, filing is an HR administrative process. You can't eliminate it. I call it the necessary evil. But it is what it is. We have files we have to keep. We have legal compliance that we must maintain. This just puts it in a super easy format. So that's been really big.
Makes our job a lot easier. It really does. You know, it makes me think about how I organize and structure activities even that I do. So it's just really a pleasant thing. So don't be afraid. Give it a try. Right? And
I highly recommend it.
For sure. What else?
Oh, Elsa's new. Wow, she's challenging me.
I am.
Let's see here. So for CU Answers, over the last year we talked about benefits, but we've made a lot of changes to our benefit plan. We went self-insured in the last year. So that was kind of a big transition for us. It's been, knock on wood, a really great transition. And we've been able to minimize our costs, minimize the plan changes for our staff, and really keeping us with a very nice, rich plan that we're able to offer to our employees. But insurance is kind of a beast.
Well, I love that you said that, actually, because managing change, right, and managing structure, and that can be a difficult thing. So what is your best advice in that area?
On how to manage change? I guess my tactic or my approach is generally one bite at a time. I think that, and I said this to my new employee today, I said, I am not an advocate for change for the sake of change's sake. I am an advocate for change because it makes sense. And I believe you have to crawl before you walk and walk before you run and run before you sprint, you know, and life isn't always a sprint, but you know what, you know, they talk about the tortoise and the hare, and I operate probably more so at a hare's pace, but sometimes I realize that the tortoise does win the race. So I think balancing that's important, and I think balancing change and evolving, not staying static, keeping up with the market, keeping up with the industry, at least researching. You don't always have to make the change, but understanding what's out there, what's available, because sometimes you're like, whoa, that makes a lot of sense. Why am I not doing that?
You know, I think it comes right down back to the beginning of our conversation, needs assessment, right? And really understanding what it is we're trying to accomplish and our objectives and goals, right? And then going right back down to, from those areas, what comes next? Is it recruiting? Is it coaching? Is it benefits? Is it documentation? Is it electronic storage? What is it that, and what does it mean to me and how I'm going to execute? And that's something that really, I know that I've worked with you a lot in personally and my team, and how we can organize and structure that in a way that makes sense to our staff too. So I would encourage you folks to get in touch with Amber. How do we do that? How do we get in touch with you?
Well, you can find me at amber.overla@cuanswers.com, or you can call our 800 number, and I'm at extension 727, or you can just ask the receptionist to speak to Amber, and they will transfer you, because I'm the only Amber in the building right now. So.
And you can contact me as well, and I'll get you in touch with Amber as well and her team. So some really exciting things happening for RD. Organizational resource development. So that's a long term. And you all know we love our acronyms, and Amber tossed a lot of them out today.
Well, I can throw a few more if you really wanted to.
I have a dictionary going for you, so that would be wonderful. I can't believe we're already running out of time, though. So we have a few more questions to ask. These are our favorite. These are my favorite ones. So, what's your favorite word?
what's my favorite word? That would be teamwork. I believe that everyone achieves more together. And so teamwork is and my team would tell you that would be on their top of the list of words they would pick for me.
It's on your wall.
It is. I actually, one of the things I did was update the artwork in my office when I came, and I have 3 words. I have growth, teamwork, and attitude, which I think are critical. I think you have to have a positive attitude. I think you have to be a team player, and you have to have teamwork, and you have to have growth. And I think that focusing on that is so important, and so that you can, continue to move forward always.
How about your least favorite word?
It's not a word, it's a phrase. So I would say my least favorite thing is when someone says, because we've always done it that way.
For sure.
You may be doing something for that reason because it makes the most sense, because it's the most cost effective, because it's the most efficient. But to do something because we've always done it that way is not, I'm not a fan of that. So.
For sure. I love it. So how about your greatest coaches or mentors?
That's a great question. I've had a couple over the years. I have 2 that come in mind. The first one was probably my first boss in human resources. She came in, and I'll never forget the feedback she gave me. She said we were in a 10-story hospital, and we were, it was so easy to get lost. There was corridors everywhere and doors, and you had to swipe in everywhere. It was so easy to get lost. So I carried a map around with me. Like, literally, here I am, this 25-year-old kid running around this place going, I have no idea where I'm at. And she told me, she said, you're no longer to have paper with you when you walk in the hall. You are to greet and meet everyone as you come, because you never know when you meet your next boss, your next significant other, you are the next person who's going to make an impact in your life. And I always remember that, and I remember that she said, you're in HR now. You need to meet as many people as you can meet, and you need to get to know everyone, because you never know where that person, you may help them get to their next spot in life. Yeah. So I kind of live by that a little bit. The second person that comes to mind is a peer mentor, colleague at Mutual that I worked with, who he really just had patience of a saint. And I think I learned a lot from him, and I learned how to always remember to pick your battles, but I also remembered to learn how to take a deep breath and think about and process, and know that it isn't a sprint, and that I can crawl before I walk and walk before I run. And so I think he taught me some very important things, which really kind of have helped shape my career today.
Excellent. That's nice. Okay, one more.
Okay.
What's your superpower?
My superpower. That's a tricky one. I guess one of the things that I feel I am very good at is reading people. I think it probably comes from a couple years, I'm not going to say how many, of recruiting, but I think that I can easily come in and I can meet someone and I can read a lot about them. And I may not know exactly what they're thinking, I can't read their minds, but I can say, wow, this person would be great in this organization, and maybe not in this seat, but in that seat. And so I think I'm good at really kind of coming in and understanding people and understanding how they can fit in my puzzle, and how I can tap and utilize their strengths and or weaknesses to kind of build the bigger picture. So that's what I'm going to call my superpower.
Excellent. I love it. All right. So that is it for today's session of Get Connected. It's already been 30 minutes. I can hardly believe it, but be sure, folks, to get connected to Amber and give her a call. What's your extension?
727.
And your email?
Amber.overla@cuanswers.com.
Trick question, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Don't ask me to spell it.
Right. Thank you again, everybody, and you have a great day.